Hello and welcome to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. My view of humanity is a whole new tea. No, I'm going to be doing another part of Black women versus the world because, yeah, I have so many examples. And also, while watching The View on YouTube, it's always crazy how many people they accuse Whoopi and Sunny of being racist when they bring up the racism they encounter and the unfairness within the black community and how black women are looked at, portrayed, judged, ridiculed, and hated on. But then so many times it's Republicans or Trump supporters who turn around and say that they are the ones being racist when it's like if you don't know any black people who can let you know their point of view within the subject, if you don't want to do your homework or your research to verify or see what they're talking about or anything like that, no. It's like, and that's the funny part. It's like other people are saying that black people are racist upon them, but sometimes I feel like they only say that because they're in fear of the power being taken away, the privilege being taken away from them, the imbalance and being against them instead of for them. Because when it comes to education, like I've already said, in the last Black Women versus the World, we used to not be allowed to be educated and go to the colleges, so they had to build their own. And then even with hair and beauty, even now, look at dating apps. I just saw a study about a month ago, I think, where they showed women who get swiped right the most, which women are considered the most beautiful? White women. But then, who gets swiped left the most? Who's considered not dateable? Black women. And I already know the long list of reasons why men don't want to date me and or why men automatically think they can just use my body and or just use me as a I dated a black girl or I had sexual relations with a black girl, check or whatever. And or when they see my profile and the education portion or whatever, or when we start talking and I'm a nerd. I talk about investing, I talk about politics, I talk about anime, I talk about documentaries, I talk about books. I love talking about that kind of stuff. Other things as well, especially I've been studying a lot, or especially after my second master's, and I realize most men have no idea what they're doing in the bedroom. No idea. I started studying, and that's when I found out about sexology. And so, taking some classes and things like that, reading articles, looking up things, I've learned quite a lot. And also, how sexology and marketing and advertising come together is really interesting. Yeah, one day when I get back to doing the Handicapable Black Nerd, it's like I used to try to balance both of them, but you know what? Trying to write the book and the greeting cards and trying to get this Etsy shop going and like trying to create the website and physical therapy and yeah, let's just say the list goes on. And so mental health too. Yeah, mental health too. But it's just alarming with how a lot of the men on the dating apps tell me that I am not supposed to be educated, and or black men who tell me I know you don't have anything on this list. Do you? And or a lot of like with the dating apps, I don't care. I take screenshots of the hate that I get and I post it in my photo section. I used to think it would be scarecrows, so at least men this way they'll see that I'm not scared of them. They'll see that I'll just post it. But then no, more men, they're like, "Ooh, I want to see if I could be meaner. I want to degrade her. Oh, she won't date a man that's been in prison. Oh, she says that you have to have investments to date her." Yes, because I'm tired of men saying they will never be my white knight, they will never be my hero, they will never help me when I need help or anything like that. But when they need gas money, when they need to buy food, when they need to help taking care of their children, instead of calling the mom, they call me. Or they wait until I get to their house and they're like, oh, yeah, by the way, I need money, and have their hand out. And when I say I don't have extra money, they try to gaslight me. Don't you want my kids to be fed? Oh, and I'm mostly talking about white men. I'm mostly talking about white men. Yeah. And so it's just crazy how many men tell me that because I'm a black woman, there is no way that I can have all the standards on my list because they know that I don't qualify for any of them. And then some men, they try to dehumanize me by adding their own. They add their, like, oh, well, do you have a house? Do you have two houses? I don't have real estate on that list. I don't say that you have to have an apartment. I don't say you have to have a house. I don't say anything about real estate. I have, and it like, because do you know how easy it is to have a Robinhood account? Do you know how little, like, even if you just put $5 in it, that's investing. It's like, it's not much at all, but you would be investing. Congratulations. But part of me just feels like I've learned a lot from my parents when it comes to budgeting and investing and things like that. And I'm so thankful about that because with my disability, I had to pay for a lot of it. I had to spend, like, yeah, so I've mentioned that in other episodes and everything, but it's just crazy. Men want to yell at me about investing, but then when I invest, I needed the money and I took it out. I didn't need to file for bankruptcy, didn't need a loan, didn't didn't have to lose anything or whatever. But and then with my education, they say you cannot have that education. Why not? Why can't I? And I've had men say, "Well, oh, you have to send me your transcripts." Excuse me, you're not a job. I mean, spending time with you may feel like a job, but you're not a job. Trying to have a full blown conversation with you probably feels like a job, but it's not a job at all. And I don't have the time to waste with you. So that, I mean, that's just my opinion in most of the cases of, and then especially, yes, it's like I hate the fact that I had to put some of the things on my list, but many, especially white men, get mad at me for having my degrees, especially high school white men, get mad at me and tell me that I am only supposed to have babies. I am supposed to be submissive to the man. And how can I be submissive if I have education, if I am smart? What kind of man would ever want a smart woman? Do you know how many men have told me this? Not just a couple, not just one or a couple or a few, several men have told me this. And so I thought, I want to even the playing field because I'm tired of men that went to high school, but now I don't. I'm hoping it's not jealousy. I hope it's not just hatred. I don't know what it is, but it's like if they think my only purpose is to have babies just because I'm a woman, no, that's not fair. How come women are only like, no, that disgusts me. A man is allowed to do work his dreams and everything like that, but a woman is only to have children. And then the fact that I want to start my own business and I am starting my own business, but then I get judged. Men blame me or men tell me, if you only focused on finding a man to get married, so it's your fault. No wonder you're single. You focused more on writing your books than you did finding a man. Well, I dated one guy for 7 years and I got blackmailed with another guy for 5 years because he kept threatening that he was going to eliminate himself from the earth if I did not continue dating him. And then the other guy, he dropped out of college, but then, yeah, he blamed the professors for him not finishing or for him dropping out. He blamed professors for him losing his scholarships. And then his mother had the nerve to tell me that it's like she understood why he didn't finish. But she said it's unclear how I got in, but she said the only reason I got in was because I'm black, but other than that, she says she's unclear on how. Yeah, even though with college acceptance with the what the Supreme Court gave away, it benefited white women more than anything. So, yeah, interesting, isn't it? But I keep just being a black woman is a nonstop battle. A lot of people try to say that black women are too masculine, we're not feminine enough. And a lot of men tell me that I have to act right and behave and be submissive and stuff. And that's how you lose me. Like I've said in other episodes, I will never, after everything that I have been through, I'm at an age where I don't care. When men write me telling me I'm nothing but a leftover, I don't care. And then especially the men that call me the leftover. Oh, they're fortunate that I'm a Christian woman and that I'm not going to tell them what I really think they look like. Especially when the men are in their 50s and they're single and it looks like they aged like a grape. Yeah. And it's crazy also with how women are expected to always be beautiful, always be pretty, but then you expect women to also have babies, take care of the kids, and do everything but take care of themselves, but you want them to stay pretty and beautiful and obedient and everything like that. It's crazy, the beauty standards. But then go towards black women, it's like our hair and our skin and things like that. We always get told that either we're not as beautiful or we have to improve or we have to basically look like, you know, you know. And it's exhausting. And so when men try to put me down for being single, I'm just like, okay, yes, I am single. Okay. And yes, I match with guys, but then I don't. I'm not compatible with them. And I'm not going to be desperate enough to be a pick me after everything I've been through. It's like part of me feels like sometimes I wonder, did I become a pick me with Mr. No Heart? Because when he threatened that he was going to break up with me after 4 years because I wanted to adopt and foster. That's why he was threatening to break up with me when from the beginning he knew. From the beginning, he knew that I wanted to have kids. I wanted to be a mom. And I remember, I think it was year 2 or 3. It was a red flag, and I already knew we weren't gonna last. It's like, especially when he said, "I have my daughters, just take care of mine," and I've heard that before. But since I never went on the date with the guy, it was an easy block and leave. But then I was with him for 2 years, and it's like I felt bad because I already got to know the oldest daughter, and I was befriending the oldest daughter. And I didn't want to leave her behind, or I didn't want her feeling like she was ever going to be the reason why I left. Oh, but here is some good tea right here because throughout the entire relationship, I contributed with feeding them and helping them. And I'm the reason a lot of weekends where he had enough money for gas for his vehicle. But now that I think about it, sometimes I feel like he lied to me. I think he had the gas money, but he wanted to be able to buy more for 20. And so, because sometimes it's like he didn't realize that I would watch whenever he would smoke or how much he smoked or how much he had, whatever. And so sometimes when I would see that envelope and then he would tell me that he didn't have enough, but then the next week I would see that bag being filled again. And I'm just like, so, and then I wanted my money back. I wasn't giving him the money, but yeah, I found out he didn't care. He refused to pay me back. And this is the same man who said that He was never going to help me. He was never going to be my white knight. And he was threatening to break up with me because I wanted to be a mother. I wanted to be a mother. And then when his no good, absolutely awful, poorly educated, bigot ex wife, in my opinion, told his daughters that, or this is the first term for that orange guy, now that the orange guy is president, now she was going to buy me as a slave and whip me until I die. Yeah, it's like, but it's crazy because when I broke up with my ex, he acted like, was I that bad? Well, he didn't defend me. And I'm not saying go over to the house and like do like, but I mean, you don't call her, you don't set her straight. Do you know how awful and racist and degrading that is? Do you know that I think this is year 5 or 6, like, no. Yeah, probably 5 or 6. And it was absolutely awful. I was with this man for about 6 or 7 years. And all I've witnessed so much racism through different parties. And sometimes I wonder, did he only date me to take advantage of me? Did he only date me so that he could tell other people that he was with a black woman? Because he just used me. And but then breaking up with my ex and meeting other guys on the dating apps, a lot of these men only thought they were going to use me. Or since I'm an older black woman, a lot of them just thought, oh, she'll be so desperate that it's like she'll just be with the body. And it's like I had 18, 19, up to like 23 and 24-year olds trying to match with me, write me. Sometimes I would swipe right because I'm like, I want to know what he says. It's like with the Facebook dating one. Yeah, I'm like, I have to hear what he says. Sometimes they don't say anything, but sometimes they do. And it's hilarious. It's crazy. It's, deplorable sometimes because it's like, just because you're young, you think I'm just going to, no. Just because you have a six pack or some muscle, but you have no brain cells, you have absolutely no brain cells, and or thank God your brain is still in development or under construction because you can't have an individual thought if your life depended on it right now, and it's a parent. But they blame black women for being single. Especially, yeah, just you already know all the stuff I've been through. And if you don't, that means you need to look at my other episodes. And so here is some story times because it's crazy with how many times I have worked my tush off or done the work. And I've already told you guys about the time when I was working at that telecommunications job for it was for a bank or whatever. But my trainer, he kind of hit on, well, he did hit on me, and he told me that he wanted me to do some quote unquote favors for him after work in his car or whatever, and I refused. And then after that, I kept getting sent phone calls from the perverted customers who would tell me that dirty things and stuff over the phone. And I went to them and I was like, well, I can you guys, I don't know what's wrong, but I've gotten 2, 3, 4, 5 of these calls today. Can Is there a way where we can filter? Or and it's like, yeah, there's a way to go and be able to hang up, but you have to follow a system, or because you're getting scored and graded and things. And it's like after you get so many, it's frustrating or whatever. And the one guy was like, well, it's like, you know what I want you to do in that car with me. Once you do that, then I'll try to see if they can give you a different stack of calls or whatever. And I'll never forget that. I will never forget that because I was not going to. So I didn't care if I got fired from that job. I was like, okay, you want to play? Let's play. Yeah. I didn't care. I did not care because I'm literally getting so many of these calls, and some of them are so dehumanizing and awful and degrading. But though I can't even, it's like, oh, and I can't even say what these men said, or I would be probably banned on YouTube. Maybe if I send it over to the Patreon when I'm ready, because I still remember one where I was like in tears after I had to put my phone on hold. It's like I couldn't do it for long, or you get a lower grade for that week if you do that. So, but I just remember being, oh, I was crying. But then I got my payback, and oh, it felt so good too. It felt amazing. But here is another example of a time where I learned that bluntly, some nationalities are just going to use black women and black people and laugh about it at the end of the day. Because I think I've said part of the story before, but in college, I was taking a communications class. And one reason why when I was a professor, or whenever I'm a professor, because yeah, I get calls here and there still to teach. But I was taking the communications class that semester, and it was close to, or with the class, you have to do a certain amount of projects, some individual, some in groups, but the final is, I think, around 25 to 50% of your grade. It's been years, I forgot exactly how much. But they put us in our groups and everything, and I was trying to work it out to have my my major be English and a double minor with anthropology and business. And so my homework stack was a lot. The test that, oh yeah, that semester was complicated. Anyway, it was finals time, and we got into our groups, and I'm trying to prepare everything for all of my finals. And with the group, we were all like, okay, how are we going to split the work up? How are we going to do everything? And since I volunteered already a lot, like my sister and I, we volunteered a lot. So I already had some contacts on how I can do some volunteer work for our final, and that I can call the group, give them the address, and we volunteer for the day for this organization. So I set up the time, and I told my team the address, and I emailed them everything they needed. Oh, we get there, and I think everything's going smoothly. And, I'm walking around everything, making sure that everything's going well. I'm going to the person in charge, talk like, well, talking to her, making sure everything's good, and also seeing if there's any other needs, whatever, with the event in the day, because I want to make sure everything goes smoothly. And like a normal day, I don't want her thinking that since my classmates are only there for a day that they can slack off. But then there's one white boy in our group. One white boy. First, he tried to stay in his car for as long as possible. And then he kept, there was a sofa in the room where we were volunteering. He just went to the sofa and went to sleep. And it's really exhausting while I'm trying to like volunteer and put my heart into it. And he just keeps going to the sofa to fall. I keep having to go to him and wake him up and tell him, this is embarrassing. It's like I want to be able to volunteer again. I don't want a bad image. Like, you're messing up my image. I know these people. And he's just like, well, none of this matters. These kids are, and then yeah, then he started talking about the kids. And that's when I told him, if you do not be quiet, because some of the kids were nearby. And I'm a Christian woman, but I wanted to knock the mess out of that boy. Ooh. So, anyway, After we were done volunteering and everything, we got in our cars, got home. But then I started typing. I emailed everybody, okay, so when's a good day for us to come together, and or can everyone start emailing ideas for the presentation? And day after day after day, no one's responding. And I'm checking in. I'm like, okay, we're getting close to the presentation. This is almost the finals day. And then I'm trying to study for my other tests. And I'm trying to get ready for my other finals. And it's so crazy now because I used to think I was so dumb and I was impossible and whatever. And then I find out I was born with a learning disability. So the fact that I was able to finish my major with my double minor and then two masters and certifications. I don't know who needs to hear this, but don't give up and don't let anybody tell you your worth. If you need to figure out more ways or creative ways to be able to get to the end point, or on the Monopoly board, get back to start and everything like that, is do what you need to do. There's so, like with the internet, there's so many ways for research and resources and things like that. Trust me. It's like I wish the internet was like it was in my day, and I wish I was able to use it the same way than I do now. Because now it's one, yeah, with my novels and everything, like the research when I'm gonna be creating just the potions and things like that or whatever. It's absolutely cool and amazing. But anyways, so none of my teammates do anything. Absolutely nothing. And so I had to literally do the entire project myself. So now I planned the event, coordinated everything, monitored, trying to make sure my team was doing the work. And then I had to create the presentation for the class. So now it's finals day. Not one of my group members, oh no, one of my group members emailed me the day before and they said, well, it's 50% of our grade. At least we'll get a B or C. It's like, at least we'll pass. That's what they emailed me. I was so upset. It's like, okay, so when you email me, that's all you're gonna send me? That's all you okay. And this is one reason why, again, when I teach with group projects, I don't give the same grade to everybody because I know there's going to be slackers. I was like, because I had slackers in some of those groups. And I even had a student who threatened the rest of their group, if you snitch on me, if you tell her I didn't do any of the work, I know where you live. Yeah, they mess with the wrong professor. But anyways, the day of the final, my group is looking at each other horrified. Oh my gosh, I can't believe we're gonna fail. I can't believe, honey boo boo. Excuse me. Mm, mm. So anyway, when it was our turn to go, I went up to the board with my poster board with my materials, and the rest of my group. It's like they jumped up and joined me, and I'm looking at them like, nah, boo boo, you didn't do anything. It's like I knew they were going to come up anyways, but in the back of my head, I'm like, why? And we did the entire presentation, but I'll keep it short because I'm running out of time. I'll never forget what the white boy said. He he kind of said a slave comment. He was like, wow, I got you to do the whole work and I got you to do it for free. I wonder if this is how my ancestors did it. I wonder if this is how my ancestors did it. When I got when I left that classroom, I had to go to the restroom and I was bawling, crying because I was just like, I wanted a good grade, but now I feel like I'm being punished for wanting a good grade because now this no good, stupid, ignorant white guy is going to get the same grade as me, even though I was forced to have to do the entire thing. And it was just like, it's not fair. But then people always want to put down black people saying we're not smart enough. They always want to say we're not smart enough. But anyways, like, yeah, I'm going to get back to this another episode. Thank you so much for listening to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. I am a woman, I am of color, and I am handicapable. But most importantly, I am human and you're human too.